Okay. But Burge, your time to shine. Bust out that fancy spreadsheet. Tell me how much I sucked last week.
I got the spreadsheet, but I don't have any awesome music queued up like you do normally, Joe. But I wish I did, because it was a great week for me. It was not a great week for either one of you two. So let's start. I'm going to start with the basement dweller, and that's Mr. Joe. Joe had Jacksonville plus 4.5 against the Rams. That was a massive loss. He had Green Bay minus 6.5 against the Cardinals, and Green Bay won, but they did not cover that.
That was a tough not cover.
That was tough.
They friggin' dominated that game.
Yep, tough. And Jacoby Brissett made sure you didn't cover. And then you had New Orleans plus 5.5 against the Bears, and that did not pan out either for you, Joe. So cue your music up.
Fly away from here, my 500 or 500 plus record. Let's move on. I don't have any thoughts. I'm just upset.
Well, the good news for you, Joe, because of the next guy's push, you are not in the basement. You are not in the basement. Manish, another tough week for you. You did get a win, though. You did get a win. You had Seattle minus 3.5, the last game of the week to salvage the week, prevent that from happening. They beat Houston up in Seattle. You did take the loss against the Chargers minus 1.5, which I was very happy about that you took that loss against the Indianapolis Colts. And then you had the Minnesota Vikings plus 2 against your Eagles.
Yeah.
Right after railroading those Eagles last week. And the Eagles made you pay and won that game outright.
Yeah, so, I misjudged Carson Wentz. I still think of Carson Wentz as the MVP candidate the year that the Eagles went to the Super Bowl.
Dude, the best is fucking Manish is like, I'm only betting Minnesota if they have Carson Wentz.
I did say that. I'm glad you got your notebook out and remember that, Joe. Thanks for the reminder.
I got a little that reminder.
Right. That's almost word for word what I said.
That's great. That's great. Well, myself, I'm going to take the victory lap, a 3-0 week.
If I hear a zipper, dude, I'm going to be shutting my camera off.
Second time in 3 weeks, a 3-0 performance.
That's pretty good.
Straight to the top of the leaderboard. Because of those weeks. I had Indianapolis plus 1.5 against the Chargers. The other half of Manish's pick there.
Looking back on it, what the hell was that line?
I don't know.
Sorry.
That's why I took it. That's why I took it, brother.
That's like the San Francisco line this week that Manish will get to.
What can I say? Carolina minus 1 against the Jets. I had to sweat that one out a little bit. They only won 13-6 against the Jets.
I don't know why you would ever bet that game and force yourself to watch it.
Oh, well, I'll tell you what. I bet it and I didn't watch it. So I was that confident. And then my second underdog pick was Dallas plus 2.5 against the Commanders, and Dallas won in a blowout. So it was an awesome week for Burge. Right to the top of the leaderboard. We got Joe. Actually, I'm at 11-10. Joe, you're at 9-12. Manish 8-12-1.
That is terrible. 8-12-1. I mean that is so bad. I need Woody Johnson to talk about my team.
Well. That'd be great.
About my record.
Well, no favors to the leader in this week's picks, because I got the scraps this week. So Manish was like, I had a bad week. I'm jumping right out in front and grabbing the first picks out of this one.
I think we had another 11:30 Sunday pick.
Yes.
I had like I said, other than the Eagles game, which I totally whiffed on, I really had no conviction on any of these other games. I got lucky with the Seattle game. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. After this podcast, I'm going to give you a week 9 picks.
Yeah.
The look at headlines.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to start off with the scraps. I have my first game is the Los Angeles Chargers hosting the Minnesota Vikings. I have the Chargers minus 3.5. Carson Wentz showed me a lot against the Eagles. I too was in Manish's camp last week, even though I didn't have the pick. I expected Carson Wentz to do a lot better against the Eagles, and I was starting to trend towards Manish's opinion about the Eagles too, but they kind of put a stop to that for me in that game. The Chargers are coming off that tough loss to the Indianapolis Colts. I like Jim Harbaugh's team to rebound there. Arondé Gadsden, that sleeper, he's coming alive for them.
About Mr. Gadsden,
he's coming alive. He's coming alive. I like the Chargers -3.5. My underdog pick, the line's kind of wild given the records of the teams in this one. I have the Chicago Bears +6.5 against the Ravens in Baltimore. Lamar Jackson did practice today for the first time in, I think, almost over 3 weeks. First time suiting up the pads.
Severe diarrhea.
We don't know what he's going to look like if he even plays. If he doesn't play and then that announcement comes out, that line is going to definitely shift. And I liked what the Bears did last week against the Saints. I like them to continue that, and I think we're going to continue to see Baltimore fall unless Lamar Jackson is able to come back and be Lamar Jackson, and that doesn't even account for the injuries that this team has suffered, especially defensively. So give me the Chicago Bears +6.5. My third pick, we're doing something new in this segment this week, and we're going to continue it for the rest of the season. We're each going to give you a lock, our lock of the week. So far, the locks, self-proclaimed locks of Manish have not panned out. So he's, I think, wanting to drag us down with him with that. So we'll see. We're going to have one lock winner out of this week, and I'm going to start with my lock, and that's Green Bay -3. I am not sold on the Pittsburgh Steelers, who they're playing against. I think their defense is fraudulent, and they're coming off that loss to Joe Flacco in Cincinnati, which Cincinnati has been kind of a mess since Joe Burrow went down. I expected them to get a little bit better, having a veteran quarterback in there rather than Jake Browning. I did not expect them to really go toe for toe with the Steelers last week. So I really like what Green Bay is doing. We'll get to it when we talk about our power rankings in the next segment here. But give me Green Bay -3 as my lock of the week. I am going to send it over to the basement dweller. Manish.
Well, I mean, nobody likes a sort of winner, you know. I mean, not only are you a sort of winner, but you're using third person references now instead.
Yeah, it's gone right to my head. Right,
I mean,
to my head.
Look, and you have every right. I mean, my 8-12-2 record is atrocious. It's very,
I'll be
very
right
jet
there with my tail between my legs when it doesn't happen this week, and I go, "Oh."
Yeah, well, I'm going to make a run. I'm a second half player. You know, I'm much like the Chiefs. You know, it takes me 4 or 5 weeks to kind of get rolling, and then I'm going to take off. I'm so confident. I really could give you 2 locks of the week, but I'm not, because the segment is just 1 lock of the week per person. So I'm going to go with start off with a game that I'm extremely confident in, and that's the Bengals giving 6.5 at home against the only winless team in the NFL, the Jets at 0-7. It looks like Tyrod Taylor is going to be the quarterback as of this recording. It hasn't been made official, but given Woody Johnson's comments, I think it's pretty obvious that they're going to move off of Justin Fields and go with Tyrod Taylor. Much better passer than Justin Fields. He's also a turnover machine. And even though the Bengals defense has been laughable for most of the season, I think that they'll be able to get at least 1 or 2 turnovers off of Tyrod Taylor. Offensively, the Bengals look like a completely different outfit with Joe Flacco at quarterback. Jake Browning clearly demonstrated that he is not an NFL starting caliber quarterback right now. Jamar Chase getting 23 targets and 16 catches is really unbelievable. I can't imagine that he could duplicate that, but I think he'll have his way against a really poor Jet secondary. Who knows if Sauce Gardner is going to play? He's dealing with a concussion. By the way, they've got T. Higgins on the other side, who played really well the other night against Pittsburgh. Joe Flacco has really just injected life into this offense. The run game finally came alive with Chase Brown. They were dormant for a month and a half. I just think this is an explosive offense as long as Joe Flacco is the quarterback. On the road, I can't see the Jets picking up their first win. I think this is a runaway win for Cincinnati, so I'll take the Bengals -6.5. The second game is one of my 2 underdog picks. I like Dallas at Denver. Denver is a hard place to play, but I think the Giants showed last week that even though they lost, choked it away in the fourth quarter, that you can score on this Denver defense. And that's really, tough for me to say because I'm a big believer in the Bronco defense, but the Cowboys are just a really explosive offense. They've scored 40-plus points 3 times this year. They routinely go over 30 points. CeeDee Lamb is healthy. So you got Lamb, you got Pickens, Javonte Williams, revenge game, by the way, and Javonte has really come alive in his first season with the Cowboys. Dak Prescott, arguably playing the best football of his career. The defense still a little bit shaky, but I'm not really a believer in Bo Nix. I know that they erupted in the fourth quarter against the Giants last week, but they've done nothing for 3 quarters. I like the 3.5 points. I'll take that. I think Dallas can win the game, but if you're giving me more than a field goal, give me the Cowboys. And then my lock of the week, really a puzzling line. I'm not an odds maker. They have their reasoning and their rationale for how they set these lines, but for the life of me, I cannot understand why the 49ers are getting 1.5 points against the Texans. We saw the Texans last Monday night really lay an egg in a loss to Seattle. The Texans' offensive line, it looks as putrid as ever. And because of that, C.J. Stroud looks as lost as ever. And who knows if they'll have Nico Collins. He suffered a concussion. It's a short week. He may not be available. And even if he were available, I just love this 49er team, 5-2, coming off a really emphatic win against a team that some people were thinking was an up-and-coming team in Atlanta. They really controlled that game. Robert Saleh, Jets' former head coach, has this defense playing exceedingly well. I can't imagine the Texans being able to move the ball against the Niners. I love the Niners all day long, and for the life of me, again, I do not understand why they're getting 1.5 points, but I'll gladly take it, and that's my lock of the week.
Well, we had one of those locks was cherry-picked the Jets. That seems to be a common theme on this podcast every week. I was it last week. Manish on it this week. And you heard it here first. Manish is the Kansas City Chiefs of this podcast. So expect him to make a huge run. And if he doesn't, I hope people are in the Twitter comments getting on him about it. Joe?
Yeah, dude, I love that Niners pick. I saw that line and I was like, you lucky bastard. So just to kick off my picks, I've got the Giants plus 7.5 in Philly. I think there's a bad taste left in their mouth when coming off their absolute just let go of the rope in Denver, losing. I think they were 19-0 and it was 32-8 at one point or something crazy like that.
28-6, yeah.
Yeah, so I like the Giants to bounce back here. Philly's coming off a really good Jalen Hurts performance. Jalen Hurts is the kind of player that I see where everybody doubts him, and then he comes out and performs like crazy, and then everybody gets back on the bandwagon, and maybe he lays an egg here. I don't like the Giants to outright win this game, but it is a divisional game in the middle of the season. Giants are fighting to keep their season alive. Philly's fighting to kind of get back to the top of the NFC where they have been for the last couple seasons. So I think this game's going to mean a lot to both of them. Both of them are going to be prepared. I don't think covering 8 points here is in Philly's future. So give me Giants plus 7.5 there. A game that I thought about making my lock until I Woody Johnson myself, and the last person to talk about it was Burg, and he had the other side. But I still do have the Steelers plus 3 at Green Bay. Green Bay, even though they controlled the game versus the Cardinals, didn't end up covering. But I do like the Steelers to cover 3 points. Coach quarterback combo means so much in this league. I think this will be a good matchup of both of them. But I think the Steelers, they're a good team. They're gonna bounce back. I like them plus 3 at Green Bay. And then here comes my lock of the week. This might be my mortar lock of the century. This might be the Crisco and Pants Off game of the week. The Pats are finally home after 3 straight road wins. The entire team after that game, all the sound this week from the coach all the way down to the special teamers have been, this team cannot wait to show the home fans what they've become. What they've become is what we'll talk about in our next segment. But what they've become to me is a smart, heady football team with talent in a bunch of different positions who has an absolutely diabolically lethal quarterback right now. I don't think you've seen anybody be on fire like this since NBA Jams when the ball used to catch on fire, when he used to hit a bunch of threes. Like, this guy is hotter than a pistol. All right? Cleveland, Dylan Gabriel, I'm sorry, man, but holy crap, you stink, dude. I think this is going to be a close game. I don't like Cleveland to score very many points in this game. The Patriots still haven't let up 50 yards to any single rusher this year. I think as long as they control the ground game with Quinshon Judkins, I don't think Njoku's going to be back for this game. Dylan Gabriel stinks, and I think that'll play right into the Patriots' hands. They shut down the run, force it into Gabriel's hands. I think we're looking at a 14-3, 17-3, 21-6 kind of game. So give me the Pats -7 at home versus Cleveland as my mortal lock of the century of all time. Back in Christopher Columbus was talking about this mortal lock when he sailed the ocean blue in 1492. He was talking about this mortal lock of the 21st century. That's how locked in I am on this game. So give me the Pats -7.
The last minute pick change, the last minute lock change. We couldn't go head to head on it, could we?
No, I thought that would be bad for the people. I don't want people. It's like when mom and dad are fighting, dude. You can't have mom and dad fighting.
Okay, all right. That's a fair point. That's a fair point. Well, there you have it. There's the picks for this week.